Hello everyone, good morning. I'm Rachel and this is 𝐊𝐴𝐴 Studios. You're watching the early trades. Australian shares opened higher on Tuesday, extending gains for the third session. That's supported by materials and healthcare stocks. The ASX 200 is trading higher by 37.5 points or 0.53% at 7,061. 7 out of 11 sectors are trading in the black, while materials led the rally with nearly 1.4% gains. Other sectors that are trading higher include financials, energy, materials, utilities, telecommunication services, and as mentioned, healthcare. Information technology is the worst performing sector, falling 0.6%, followed by industrials, AREITs and consumer staples. The top 5 gainers on the ASX are Nuix, Passus Mining, Oz Minerals, Resolute Mining and Champion Iron, which rose between 3 to 5% in opening trade. Some of the worst performing stocks today are St Barbara, James Hardie Industries, Redbubble, Afterpay and 𝐊𝐴𝐴. The market did witness a sharp sell-off in buy now pay later space, tracking Nasdaq's descent on Wall Street. That's as investors dumped high growth stocks amid lingering concerns about higher inflation. The share price of buy now pay later giant Afterpay and also 𝐊𝐴𝐴 fell over 2% in opening deals. Shares of gold miners such as Resolute Mining and De Grey Mining are trading in the black amid a rise in gold price. Concerns over inflationary pressure helped gold prices to surge to the highest level in more than 3 months. Spot gold added 1.3% to $1,865.70 an ounce. Australian energy stocks such as Woodside Petroleum, Origin Energy and Oil Search rose up to 1%. This was in sync with the higher crude oil prices. We did see oil prices edge higher on Monday, with Brent crude rising 1.1% to close at $69.46 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude gained 1.4% to $66.27 a barrel. Media and communications shares remained in focus, tracking losses in communication services in overnight trade on Wall Street. That was after AT&T inked a deal with Discovery Inc. This is to combine their media assets to form a new publicly traded company. AT&T owns HBO and Warner Brothers Studios, while Discovery is home to lifestyle TV networks such as HGTV and TLC. Rate-sensitive stocks such as financials, realty and auto stocks will be in focus today as the Reserve Bank of Australia will release its latest minutes from the monetary policy meeting at 11:30 p.m. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. The market is expected to track the minutes to see if there are any hints of further easing in interest rates. However, economists expected Wednesday's wage price index and Thursday's employment data to have more impact on the Australian dollar. Investors will now be awaiting the performance of manufacturing index data from analytics company Market on Wednesday. And also, in April, the retail sales data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics will be released later this week on Thursday. Moving on now to other companies in the news today. Shares of St Barbara Mining is trading 9.5% lower at $1.86. Now that was after the gold mining company lowered its production guidance for the 2021 financial year. They cited muted performance at their Leonora and Simberi operations in Western Australia due to negative grade reconciliation in both Stope ore and Jasper stockpile material. The gold miner has downgraded production guidance for the financial year 2021 to between 330,000 and 360,000 ounces, as compared to previous estimate of 370,000 to 380,000 ounces. Moving on now to another company, the share price of James Hardie has dropped 3% to $40.80 after the company released its earnings. The company has reported 9% growth in full-year net profit, attributable at $262.8 million. That's compared to a year ago. Net sales grew by 12% to $2.9 billion. Moving on now, Charter Hall Longwell REIT has entered into a trading halt. That's pending an announcement related to an acquisition and also an equity raising. In an exchange filing, the company has said that it's entered into agreements to acquire 50% interest in 3 modern, long-weighted, average lease expiry suburban office properties, and also 1 modern life sciences property, and has settled the acquisition of the Longwell convenience retail property with a total purchase price of $415.4 million. The company has proposed to undertake a fully underwritten, accelerated, non-renounceable entitlement offer, and that's to raise approximately $250 million to partially fund the acquisitions and also the associated transaction costs. Moving on now to another company in the news today. Shares of audio devices manufacturer Udera is set to make its stock market debut on the ASX today. That's with a market value of $21 million. Under the IPO, the Australian consumer electronic products maker has proposed to issue 35 million shares to raise $7 million at 20 cents a share. Moving on to another company now, international payments and foreign exchange services provider OFX Group has announced it will place its dividend policy on hold to support an on-market share buyback program of up to 10% of its issued ordinary shares. The company has also reported 37.1% decline in net profit after tax at $12.7 million. While sales rose 1.4% to $25 billion. Following the announcement, shares of the OFX Group traded higher by 0.4% to $1.25. Moving on to another company now, Westfield owner Unibail-Rodamco Westfield has priced a €1.25 billion 2-tranche senior bond offering to strengthen its liquidity position and to extend the group's debt maturity. The company intends to use net proceeds for general corporate purposes. That includes the refinancing of upcoming bond maturities. The stock price has dropped 1.2% to $5.40. Moving on now to another company, clinical stage biopharmaceutical company Telix Pharmaceuticals has inked an exclusive commercial distribution agreement with Eckert & Ziegler Strahlen und Medizintechnik based in Berlin in Germany. Moving on now to another important update, this time on the Trans-Tasman bubble. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, along with his wife, will visit New Zealand at the end of this month. This will be their first trip since the borders of both countries were forced to shut. That was due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He'll visit New Zealand's Queenstown to attend the annual Australia-New Zealand Leaders Meeting. This is being held between the 30th and the 31st of May this year. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is looking forward to welcoming the pair, stating that the New Zealand and Australia relationships reflect strong ties. Morrison too expressed that both the neighbouring countries shared deep-rooted bonds of friendship, trust and trade. And the start of the Trans-Tasman travel bubble was a perfect example in this regard. The deliberations between the two countries would focus on reviving the tourism industry. That's across both countries. COVID-19 will also be discussed and other related challenges, plus issues pertaining to regional and also security matters. The visit would also witness the celebration of the quarantine-free travel between both the countries. Now, the two leaders will hold talks with Aussie and Kiwi leaders in tourism, business and the community. They will also attend a Highlanders rugby union game. Also on their itinerary will be a visit to the Arrowtown War Memorial. Now, in her pre-budget speech, Jacinda Ardern had also mentioned leading a trade delegation to Australia in July 2021. This is where she intends to visit several Australian states in order to further strengthen the trans-Tasman bond between the two nations. Back in April this year, Australia's Foreign Minister, Marise Payne, visited New Zealand to meet with the Prime Minister and the country's Foreign Affairs Minister. During this meeting, discussions around China and the Five Eyes, as well as the citizenship of the accused terrorist Suhara Aden, whose passport was cancelled by Australia back in 2020, were discussed. That's all from me for now. Stay tuned with Kalkine TV for more live market updates. We'll be back with more news very shortly on the markets, the economy, diverse themes and sectors. I'm Rachel, signing off for now.